Hey, this is going to be the first video in a series about how to pronounce the vowels in the German alphabet. You probably already know that it's much more straightforward than it is in English. You may also know that kids in school take longer to learn to read and write in English than they do in languages like German. This isn't because we're Doomber. It's because the writing system is that much more intuitive. They have rules and they stick to them. So this is the first video in this series, and we're going to look at the German letter A. The biggest challenge with pronunciation with the German letter A is probably going to be vowel length, which is phonemic in German. Consider the minimal pair zat versus zat. Don't get confused about that though. The spelling does cue you in onto how to tell those apart. German spelling rules are pretty reliable. Let's get into it. Some important uses of the letter A that I'm going to talk about are A followed by a double consonant, A followed by a single consonant, Doppel A, and A plus H. We're not going to worry about diphthongs right now, so I'm not including A plus another vowel in the list. 1. When the letter A is followed by a double consonant in German, it's pronounced as the short A. Some examples are der Mann, die Kanne, das Lamm, der Lappen. Note that when you have a vowel followed by a double consonant, this is indicative of a closed syllable. You don't usually start a syllable with a double consonant. You may know the rule I'm about to share if you've been watching my other videos. A stressed syllable that ends in a consonant, and if it ends in a consonant, we can call it a closed syllable. This situation usually determines a short vowel in German. Here are some examples of the short A in closed stressed syllables, other than with the double consonants. Das Land, der Abt, die Lampe, basteln. This is more of a general guideline, and you can use it for differentiating long from short vowels in general, or most of the time, but not in this case, the tense vowels from their lax counterparts. Anyway, it applies very reliably in this case. The only exception I could think of was die Tat. That's a closed syllable, ends in a consonant, but it's a long A. Let me know if you can think of any other examples. So 1 was A followed by a double consonant, and if you want to broaden that, A in any closed stressed syllable, or most of them, is pronounced as the short A. 2, A followed by a single consonant. When the letter A is followed by a single consonant, you have to pay attention to the syllable structure of that word. Basically, if the A appears at the end of the syllable, so if it's an open syllable, and that consonant serves as the onset of the following syllable, then the A is pronounced as a long A. So let's look at some examples. Der Name, das Kabel, die Nase, die Tafel. Now, if you examine the syllable structure of all of these nouns, you'll find that the A marks the end of the syllable that it's in. You'll also note that these are all long A's. Now let's look back at our examples of A in closed syllables. Das Land, der Abt, die Lampe, basteln. I had these examples already, I know, so I'm using the same ones in case it helps you remember when the letter A is featured in a closed syllable, so in a syllable ending in a consonant, it's pronounced as the short A. By the way, I'm ignoring H here, the letter H, when I'm counting the consonants, because it's not pronounced when you write it after A, so that doesn't really count from a phonetic perspective. We are going to take a look at what that means orthographically, just not right now. It's number 4 in this list. 3. Doppel A. When you encounter a Doppel A in German, it should mean you pronounce that with a long A. Here are some examples. Der Aal, der Saat, der Staat. There actually aren't a ton of examples of the Doppel A in German, but there you have it. When you see that, you pronounce that with the long A. 4. A plus H. In this situation, the H is silent and the A is pronounced as a long A. Some examples are die Sahne, die Wahrheit, die Ahnung, and die Fahne. So I hope you can tell that those are all spelled A plus H, and they're all pronounced with a long A. Okay, to wrap it up, I'm going to give you a quiz. So I'm going to put some words on the screen somewhere, and you can either pronounce them out loud or just take a note to yourself, say that's a long A, that's a short A, whatever you need to do. And maybe you can even tell yourself what the rule is. So you can pause the video here if you need to, and I'm going to go over them now. So 1, Badezimmer, Badezimmer, Badezimmer. So that ba, that's an open syllable. And that means that that A is a long A. So Badezimmer. 2, Rand, Rand. That's a closed syllable. It ends in a consonant cluster, so it ends in a consonant. And that means that that A is a short A. Rand. 3, Saal, Saal. So that's a Doppel A, and that means that it's a long A. Saal. Wahnsinnig. 4 is wahnsinnig. Wahnsinnig. So that would be, so that's an A plus H, and that makes it a long A. Wahnsinnig. So how did you do? Let me know.